Central Alabama Water Company, formerly known as the Birmingham Water Works, has laid off a little over 130 employees today, saying that they needed to significantly reduce the workforce.
Good afternoon. My name is Dakar Lariat, candidate for United States Senate. I'm here to support the workers, and we have got to do better. Gavon was just speaking about just this moment in our society right now where it's anti-worker and it's anti-justice. We need a Department of Justice that fully funds the Civil Rights Division and supports workers.
I just got laid off and I'm still in shock because everything happened so fast. They actually did me pretty dirty. Definitely hit me out of nowhere because we had just come home from our honeymoon and celebrating my 30th birthday. I'm in tech, so layoffs happen, but I just did not expect it to happen to me because I've been with this company for
Just imagine waking up, getting ready for work like normal day, same routine, same mindset, and then you get there, everything is gone. No warning, no preparation, no backup plan, just like that. Your income gone. Now, ask yourself this. How do you recover from something that's like that overnight? Don't just listen to what I'm just saying. Let's go watch some of these clips, then we come back because this one we need to talk about it. So guys, without wasting much time, let's go ahead and watch those clips and we'll come back for our full analysis.
Good afternoon. My name is Dakar Lariat, candidate for United States Senate. I'm here to support the workers, and we have got to do better. Gavon was just speaking about just this moment in our society right now where it's anti-worker and it's anti-justice. We need a Department of Justice that fully funds the Civil Rights Division and supports workers. We need an EEOC that works for the workers. Now, I'm a ratepayer. I'm a resident of Birmingham. My grandmother worked for H2O. This is very personal. So I'm here for the workers today.
You're being conned right now. These mass layoffs that everyone is saying is because of AI, they're not. What they're doing is they're resetting the job market so that all of you start accepting roles and jobs at salaries that you would have previously laughed at. This is not a technology issue. This is a greed issue. And while, yeah, sure, AI is taking some jobs from some people, that is not what's happening here at a wide scale, right? They are doing this and they are making people go back to the office in the hopes that they'll quit. And they're doing it so they cut costs, which is going to help their stock prices go up and their exec pay packages go up. And it's going to signal to investors that they are investing in AI and getting efficient gains and all of that so that they look like they're, on the up and up with AI. And guess what? When they actually need humans again, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call you, but this time they're going to offer you probably maybe half the salary that you had when you left. And you're going to have been unemployed for so long that you're going to take it because you're desperate. Okay. So in a world where basically the cost of living is skyrocketing, maybe doubling, you are about to get half of your pay. And that is the future of work that no one's talking about.
One of the most powerful billionaires in Silicon Valley just admitted that the AI layoffs are a sham. Every time a company lays off thousands of people, they blame AI. And if you work in tech or you're anxious about the layoffs, this should change the way you think about AI. Because the threat might not be what you think it is. Now, Marc Andreessen is the billionaire founder of Andreessen Horowitz, one of the world's largest venture capital funds. This is a guy who has funded some of the biggest companies in the world, and this is what he recently said on a podcast. He said that every large company is overstaffed by at least 25%. Now, most are overstaffed by at least 50%, some by 75%. And now, in his words, he says that they now have the silver bullet. They can use AI as an excuse to trim the fat. He's saying that these layoffs are not about replacing workers with AI. It's about companies that are cleaning up a mess that they made during COVID, specifically overhiring. During the pandemic, some of these companies went on the biggest hiring spree in history. Block went from 3,800 employees to over 10,000. Meta, Amazon, and Google did the exact same. They hired assuming that demand would never stop, but it did. An Oxford economics report found that most CEOs who did layoffs because of AI was actually because of overhiring. And these were just corrections from past instances. And this report says that only 4 to 5% of layoffs are actually because of AI. But here's the reason why companies keep using AI as an excuse. AI-related stocks in the last year have driven 75% of all S&P 500 returns. Layoff around AI tells Wall Street that you are innovating your company. Now, a layoff framed around hiring too many people tells Wall Street that you failed and that you made a mistake. which is why all these companies see their stock prices pop right after they announce an AI-related layoff. AI is real, but there is a real incentive to use it as a cover story for trimming your organization. So the next time you see an AI-related layoff, just ask yourself, how many people did they hire in 2021? Follow to learn more.
I just got laid off and I'm still in shock because everything happened so fast. They actually did me pretty dirty. Definitely hit me out of nowhere because we had just come home from our honeymoon and celebrating my 30th birthday. I'm in tech, so layoffs happen, but I just did not expect it to happen to me because I've been with this company for about 8 years. They know that we just closed on a property last month. My manager does not share the same sentiment as the decision makers, and that's enough for me to make my peace. Not too mad about the outcome because I feel like I accidentally manifested this. This is the first real adult job I've ever had. It was lined up before I even graduated college. So it's kind of scary but exciting to rebuild my career from the bottom up. My husband has been very supportive during this time and he's encouraging me to relax and figure out what I want to do next. I told my husband when we had first met that my engineering degree is strictly for decoration, not plan to work past 30. Somehow all of this just happened. So be careful what you wish for, you will get it. You will see a lot of me on TikTok.
So my company announced in September of this year that they're laying off thousands of individuals, myself and my team, everybody included, effective December 31st of this year. So they let us know in September. It's been almost 3 months since they told us, and we are about 4 weeks away from that drop dead date of no longer being employed with the company. And last week I posted a video of me saying no to an internal job, which was a demotion and a pay cut, and everyone's like freaking out. So I just wanted to give a little update as to where I'm at in this process. So as I said, we were notified in September that we were being laid off effective December 31st. So they gave us 3.5 months notice prior to actually laying us off. In addition to that, we are all receiving severance. Okay, so that is in addition to that notice, we also get severance. And severance duration is dependent upon years of service, job title, etc. So I am lucky enough that I am receiving 6 months of severance. So all told, I have 9.5 months of runway to find another job. And I know my worth. I know my value. I know what I want. I'm not concerned at all about finding a job. And I was not concerned at all. And I have the best update ever. I have accepted a job. And they are working with me on the start date, so that way I can finish out my current job, and then I will start with my new company, doing something that I'm really excited to do. It's very much in my wheelhouse. They're going to be paying me more than what I make today, joining a really neat industry, a different industry than I have ever worked in before. So I'm very excited. So for all of you naysayers saying, come back in 3 months, this video won't age well, it's going to age just fine. So why don't you come back in 3 months and follow me on my new career journey?
Okay, so I gave my take on 2 mass layoffs this week. Meta preparing to lay off 20% of their employees, allegedly, and Oracle actually cutting 30,000 people in a 6 a.m. email. And most of the dialogue in the comments was about how companies are losing their humanity and values, right? But some of the comments were directed at the employees who lost their jobs. Like people saying things like, I don't feel bad for them. They were paid $500,000 and only worked 2 hours a week. Or the company overhired during COVID. This was inevitable. They should have known. A lot of this, it's their fault mentality. And like, why are we doing this to each other? Sure, maybe some of that is true. Maybe some of the companies overhired during COVID. Maybe some of the salaries were inflated. Maybe some of the roles didn't make sense to have on teams. But I need you to think about who made those decisions, because I'll tell you, it wasn't the person who got the 6 a.m. email telling them it was their last day. Who decided to hire tens of thousands of people and pay them whatever they wanted for years? Who decided to take on billions in debt just to chase the next big thing? Who decided that the solution to years of this financial mismanagement was sweeping mass layoffs that got entire teams overnight? That's not a correction. That's a consequence of terrible business decision after terrible business decision made by people at the very top, okay? And there's this old Italian saying, the fish rots from the head. And I think about that every single time I see one of these headlines, because the people at the top who made these terrible business decisions are still gainfully employed. And I'd like to remind you that there are roughly 930 billionaires in the United States, 930, and they're raking in the cash while our workforce is arguing in the comments arguments about whether the person who just lost their job deserved their salary. Do you understand how that benefits them? They make the decisions and they absorb exactly zero of the consequences. And somehow we end up fighting each other instead of asking who got us here in the first place. And I'm not saying that every company decision is malicious. I'm saying that when things go wrong at the top, it is always the workforce that pays for it. And then we turn around and we blame each other. And that is not okay because it's exactly what they're counting on us to do. But we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm coming to y'all with this story out of Alabama. I really didn't know how big this story was. I would have been covered it because in my mind, I'm like, okay, who drinks the water out of the faucet anyways? So my homegirl was like, shoot, the people in low income areas, they probably drink the water out of the hydrant. I'm like, well, the people I know stay in the projects, how you go in their house, you can see the water stacked up all up against the wall. So I don't think they drinking the water out the faucet. But here in Birmingham, the waterworks has decided to remove fluoride away from the drinking water. And it's a big thing. After they just laid off another 135 people. Now they did a massive layoff right after the Super Bowl. I covered that story. Now they just fired another 135 people. Whether they tested that, obviously these people tested negative for drugs in their system and alcohol. They went through several tests. The waterworks just eliminated their position. They went to work one day. It was pink slip. Hey, your position is no longer available here at this company. So after that happened, they came out with another announcement saying, "Hey, we're going to remove the fluoride." Now that can cause a lot of dental problems for our kids if they're drinking the faucet water. Now y'all tell me, are y'all drinking the faucet water or cooking with the faucet water here in Birmingham? Now me personally, I don't. I don't cook with it and I don't drink it either. But I just wanted to know how many people are still using the faucet water. I've been stopped using faucet water a long time ago. But this is something that they're really trying to fight because they want to keep the fluoride in. Looks like the people at the Birmingham Waterworks, the new CEO, he's trying to cut the budget in as many ways as he can. I just hate that it has came to this point with the Birmingham Waterworks. If you've been in Birmingham, you know they've been through so many changes. There's been so much money stolen, and that's why Kay Ivey, they couldn't keep it running properly. That's why Kay Ivey came and took it over. Now that she's taking it over, it's a lot of changes that people just don't like. And it looks like she about to take over the power company as well. Tell me if y'all done heard the story about the water being removed out of the fluoride being removed out of the water here in Birmingham. Birmingham Waterworks is one of the largest water companies in Alabama, serving over 800,000 people. Get in the comments, tell me what you think. I know y'all gonna let me know what y'all think, but this is very unfortunate. And you know, my best wishes to those people who were recently just let go the day of. It says about 135 people. You know, I hope you guys find your way.
Major firings at Central Alabama Water, what used to be the Birmingham Waterworks, laid off 135 people Friday and cut another 70 some odd jobs. In total, eliminating more than 200 positions from the workforce at the state's largest water utility. That's almost a quarter of the workforce before all these moves were made. Why? Well, the new CEO says they are cutting about $20 million out of the budget, saving that money. And that, he says, prevents them from having to raise your rates by as much as 10%. This all comes about 48 hours after we reported on their new financial filings showing the utility is losing 53% of the water it treats, either through leaks or customers getting the water and not paying for it. And that your bills, the average customer bill, up 300% plus in the last 25 years. Now a new budget's coming up to be approved perhaps next week that will show all of this in greater detail. But for now, more than 200 jobs gone in one day.
Central Alabama Water Company, formerly known as the Birmingham Water Works, has laid off a little over 130 employees today, saying that they needed to significantly reduce the workforce. As of Wednesday night, the utility board showed that the organization was facing major financial issues and needed to make significant changes and cuts. And they also eliminated 76 vacant jobs that were posted as well. And they also eliminated 76 jobs that they were looking to fill as well. According to the board, they estimate they will save $20 million in labor costs and to avoid what would have been a 10% increase for residents who utilize the water. Now, the Black employees who were hired there held a press conference shortly after the layoffs saying that they were racially targeted. If you remember last summer, the state took over the water system when it was called the Birmingham Water Works, and then they changed the name to Central Alabama Water. Now, this is where things get a little bit messy. The current CEO, Jeff Thompson, previously worked for the Birmingham Water Works as an engineer manager and was fired due to his management style and was considered non-rehirable. When the state officially took over the board, they then rehired him and gave him a salary of $446,000. And immediately after he was rehired, he fired 4 senior staff members who then went on to file a lawsuit claiming unlawful termination. I have an opinion about what I think is going on here, and I'll post that in my next video.
Let's be real. That situation right here, that's not just news. That's people real life. Because when you hear 100 fired overnight, what that really means is hundreds of families affected, hundreds of bills suddenly at risk, hundreds of people trying to figure out their next move. That's not small. Let's break it down. Losing a job is already hard, but losing it without warning, that's its difference. Because now there is no time to prepare, no time to adjust, no time to plan. It's just prayer instantly. And this is where it gets deeper. This is not just about one facility, it's about a bigger question. How much protection do workers really have? Because situation like this shows that stability is not always guaranteed. Loyalty doesn't always get returned, and systems don't always move with people in mind. Now let's talk about something that matters. When large group of workers lost jobs like this, entire communities feel it, and for many Black communities where economic stability has often required navigation extra challenging, sudden job loss can hit even harder because it affects household stability, opportunity, long-term growth. So when people react strongly to stories like this, it's not just emotion, it's understanding how deep the impact can go, what stood out in that clip, and this and the frustration, the confusion, and the disbelief. Because can see it in people's faces. How did this happen so fast? And that's the part number don't show. Behind every 100 fired headline, there are real people trying to figure these things out. Now let's ask the real question. Could this be could this have been handled differently? Should workers have been given more notice? What responsibility do organizations have in moments like this? Because at the end of the day, decisions like this don't just affect profit, they affect life. Stories like this goes viral for a reason because people see themselves in it, even if it didn't happen to them. They think they could be me, and that's fear. That's real. So everyone watching this, take this as a reminder. Nothing is guaranteed. Stability can change fast, and preparations matters, but also awareness matters. Understanding how system works can help you move smarter. If you make it this far, I want to hear from you. Do you think companies should be allowed to fire people like this without warning, or should there be strictly rules? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. And if you want more real conversation like this, hit that subscribe button right now because we are not just reacting, we are paying attention to what is really matters. Because at the end of the day, this is bigger than one headline. It's about security, it's about fairness, it's about people trying to survive in system they doesn't control. And the real question is, who looks out for the worker when everything changes overnight? Thank you for watching this far, and I will see you all in my next video.